Alrighty, mate. My name is Max, and I took my vert from 22 inches and not touching the rim to 39 inches and throwing down windmills. Here's 3 lessons that I learned, and you can apply it. So, 2 years ago, I really wanted to dunk. Okay, I watched the Michael Jordan documentary, and his athleticism is unreal. He was just dunking the shell off a basketball. It really made me want to dunk, right? And I also watched loads of NBA at the time, and just seeing the dunking, I was like, man, I want to dunk. So I researched online because I could not jump very high. I wasn't very athletic at all, and I wasn't tall enough. So I really wanted to, increase my vertical jump. So I looked on YouTube, how can I increase my vertical jump? And the first video I found was a YouTube video telling me that I had to do this special thing called plyometrics. Now, you've probably heard of plyometrics. Everyone has heard of plyometrics. If you don't live under a rock, you've heard of plyometrics. So I did these plyometrics. Apparently it's a cheat code to getting athletic. So I did them. I did different sequences and all sorts. I did them every single day, I think, for 3 months. But my vert didn't budge at all. Right, I didn't jump higher, and I was getting annoyed about this because why was this thing that was guaranteed to be working not working for me? What was going on there? So then I looked at other things I could do. So I looked at what Mac McClung did, and he said he did these spot jumps. So you had like 5 spots, you did different sequences and try get a really quick time each time and beat the time and do it as quick as you possibly can. So I did that. Again, I did it for maybe 2 months, didn't work. Then I looked at what Ja Morant did. Now, Ja Morant is a freak athlete, and I wanted to be like him. I wanted to jump high, I wanted to dunk. So I looked at what he did. There was a video of him when he was younger, and his dad was saying that he did 400 tractor tire jumps every single day. Up and down, up and down. He did that every single day. And that is ridiculous volume, by the way. But of course I did it, because why wouldn't I want to do that? Because Ja Morant did it, so it must work. But the sad reality was, it didn't work for me. Then I was stuck, right? What could I possibly do? Ja Morant's method didn't work, Mac McClung's method didn't work, and plyometrics didn't even work. What was going on there? So I stripped it all back, and I decided to do something really simple. I was just going to practice jumping. And guess what happened? My vert went up by 7 or 8 inches, and I got my first dunk within 3 months of doing this. I jumped every single day with max effort. I pretty much jumped until my legs were dead. And yeah, my vert went up by a ridiculous amount, 7 or 8 inches in 3 months, and I got my first dunk, and I got really good at jumping. So the lesson learned here is, if you want to get better at something, you have to do that thing more often. If you want to get better at jumping, you have to jump more often, okay? The thing is, with these plyometrics, I was doing them, I was thinking these are going to work, but I wasn't actually practicing the skill I was trying to get better at. What would a painter do if they wanted to get better at painting? They would paint more. They wouldn't do some wrist curls. That wouldn't help them. They wouldn't do some finger curls. That wouldn't help them. They would paint. So for goodness sake, go out and jump. I'm literally screaming to my younger self, jump! Don't do plyometrics. I think if you have the capacity to be able to do plyometrics, then you're not spending enough time max effort jumping. And the thing is, the reason it works is so simple. It's the law of specificity. If you want to get better at something, you have to do that thing more often. And the beauty of max effort jumps, right, is that they self-intensify. So as you get better and better, the jumps themselves become more and more intense and serve to continue overloading your body, spurring on adaptations. These adaptations make you jump higher. So jumping is uncapped. You can keep doing it every single week, and you're going to keep getting better and better and better. So you've got to be jumping. My general recommendation for you is not jumping every day, because you probably will get knee pain. I was fortunate enough to not get knee pain by doing this, but I would not recommend it. I would recommend you get in 30 to 50 max effort jumps in every single week, and jump for, try jump twice a week for 1 to 2 hours. The key here is max intent, right? Intent drives adaptation. you've got to jump your highest in order to stimulate adaptations, right? So there you go. Jump max effort, do that fairly often, and I can guarantee you're going to jump high, right? Don't go a week without jumping max effort. You're going to jump high. I can guarantee you're going to get your first dunk. Now, on to my second lesson. So this was what, just over a year and a half ago. I was scrolling on YouTube, and guess what I found? A video of Usain Bolt doing a two-hand windmill dunk. So I clicked on it, and sure enough, he did the two-hand windmill dunk, and I was amazed. Right, I know he is 6'5", and freak athlete, but his bounce was unreal for someone who probably hasn't practiced much jumping. So I was thinking, ooh, hang about, does sprinting make you jump higher? Then I came across a video saying that, and proving that sprinting helps you to jump higher. It gave me some evidence that, some case studies, whatever. So then I decided, you know what, why not try it? This could be quite fun. Sprinting is quite fun. So I tried sprinting, and sure enough, I've stuck at it for 1.5 years now. I sprinted every single week. And I have gotten so much faster, but more importantly, I have increased my vert by a lot. And funnily enough, this summer, right, I have not been doing much jumping because I have run into a bit of knee pain, but I've been doing a lot of sprinting and a fair bit of strength training as well. But my vert's gone up by 2 inches without doing much jumping at all. And my theory is that this is from the sprinting. I think the sprinting has developed my elasticity and my fast twitch muscle fibers so that I'm a much more explosive athlete, and that's carried over to my vertical jump, and now I can jump higher. Sprinting, it uses every single muscle of the legs and the trunk. There's no single better movement pattern for increasing your general athletic capabilities than sprinting. Sprinting was shown to be better for increasing strength, power and agility than traditional plyometric training, more than traditional plyometric training. Sprinting is truly a exceptional thing to be doing. Sprinting also develops those fast twitch muscle fibers that everyone has heard about, and we want more of those, because if we have more fast twitch muscle fibers, we can be more explosive. If we can be more explosive, we can jump higher. So sprinting is super important, and if I had to put a range on it, since I've started sprinting, my vert has probably gone up by about 12 or 13 inches. So sprinting is truly, truly unbelievable. It's a great thing for you to be doing. I would highly suggest, so my lesson for you is sprint 2 to 3 times a week. Do it every week. Sprint as fast as you possibly can. Try getting 100 to 200 meters per session. Don't sprint for longer than, I would say, 50 meters in a sprint. So a sprint session could look like 3 40-meter sprints. And it really doesn't take a lot of time, but you can yield incredible results from it. And I guarantee if you sprint 2 to 3 times a week, every single week for the rest of your life, you will get fast, you will jump high. It will also probably help you get stronger as well. It'll help you get more lean. It will help you in so many different ways. In fact, actually, if you're a basketball player and maybe you struggle with your fitness a bit, sprinting actually helps you to improve your fitness. Because, right, the theory is, so if athlete A can run at a max speed of 10 meters per second, but athlete B can run at a max speed of 8 meters per second, if the average game is, this is not to scale at all, but if it's at 6 meters per second, it takes less out of the guy who can run at 10 meters per second than the guy who runs at 8 meters per second, right? Just simple logic. So, in theory, if you get quicker, you're gonna have better endurance for a team sport. So, yeah, I think sprinting is amazing. Do it every single week. You will get fast. You will jump high. I cannot recommend it more. It's such a good thing to be doing. Now, for lesson 3, so I remember I was with my older brother. My older brother is 4 years older than me, and we were doing a bit of a jumping contest because I think we were out and there was this bollard. It was like a bollard that like it kind of flaps a bit, so if you push it, it would fall over. And it was, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 feet tall, and this was 2 years ago when I really wasn't very athletic, but I was doing loads of plyometrics at the time, right? And I thought, oh, I'm a freak athlete, I can jump really high. And I thought, oh, I'm a freak athlete, I can jump really high because I do plyometrics. I was blinkered because I thought the plyometrics made me like a superhuman. Of course they did. But yeah, anyways, we were doing this jumping competition. My brother just got over it easily. But me, you see, I struggled getting over that. I didn't get over it. And I was like, what? Why am I not more athletic than this guy? He doesn't even do plyometrics. So then, I had a chat with him, and I think the thing we found out was the biggest difference between us two was the fact that he was just a lot stronger than me. Okay, I had done no weight room training, but he'd done quite a lot. And he was significantly stronger than me. Of course, strength is not the most important thing when it comes to vertical jump, but it is a big proponent of it. Elite strength is non-negotiable if you want to jump high. That is my third lesson. If you want to jump high, you have to get stronger. I was very weak, and I suppose you could bring in the doing max effort jumps, but I think the reason I couldn't jump over that bollard was probably a mixture of not being strong enough and also not having done enough sprinting. So it is actually a mixture of all three, but the lesson I'm trying to get at here is you have to get stronger. If you want to jump higher, you have to get stronger. So jumping is physics. If you want more impulse, you have to increase force, because once you've actually mastered your technique, you can't increase time. To get more force, you have to get stronger. And to get stronger, you have to do the compound lifts. You have to do the squat, the deadlift, the calf raises. You have to get strong in the main lifts, the best bang for your buck exercises. And this, so if you increase your squat, if you increase the amount of weight you can squat, you're going to increase the amount of force your body can produce into the ground. Therefore, you're going to be able to jump higher. I've seen a direct correlation between how strong I've got and how high I've been jumping. Simple as that. It's simple. It's simply about force, right? Increase the amount of force that you can apply into the ground, you're going to be able to jump higher. And the main things you want to get really strong are your quads, your glutes, your hamstrings, and your calves. So let's talk a bit about the calves. So calves are often neglected, as you may or may not know. The calves are actually really, really important when it comes to jumping. The gastroconsolius, they're the muscles in your calf. They attach to the Achilles tendon. Now, the Achilles tendon is the ever important spring in your leg that helps you to jump high and sprint fast. And when you do calf raises and get really strong on them, you increase the cross-sectional area of the Achilles tendon. This makes it a stiffer and more useful tendon, which allows you to sprint faster and jump higher. So calf raises are going to help you jump higher. Next, we've got squats. If you increase the amount that you can squat, increase your squat relative to your body weight. This is the important part. We don't want to increase our squat, but also increase our body weight massively. But if you increase your squat, you're going to be able to produce more force and therefore jump higher. Then glutes, you want to do stuff like hip thrusts, squats will develop it a bit. Bulgarian split squats are actually really important. The Bulgarian split squat trains maximum glute force production, and it's on one leg. So I'm a single leg jumper, and this has helped me massively. I think the Bulgarian split squat has done more for my jumping than a traditional squat has. As you can see, it's more specific, and if you get really strong on one leg, you can imagine it's going to help you to jump high off one leg, and you see similar angles in the Bulgarian split squat that you do in a single leg jump. So I love the Bulgarian split squat. Hip thrust is also really good. Hamstrings are really important. When I had a 22-inch vert, I couldn't do a full Nordic. Now I can do 10 in a row. So that just goes to show that my hamstrings have gotten a lot stronger, and that's probably contributed. It's estimated that the hamstrings contribute about 25% of the jump, so they are very important. So I would suggest you get really, really strong, and the optimal way of laying out your session is start with an explosive. Oh, hang on. There's something really important we need to talk about. This is rate of force development. Now, rate of force development is simply your body's ability to produce lots of force very quickly. And this helps with your jumping massively. And the best way of increasing your rate of force development is power cleans, okay? You see a lot of the best athletes do them. There's a lot of coaches online saying, don't do power cleans, they're hard to learn, blah, blah, blah. Power cleans are one of, if not the best exercise for improving your rate of force development. I've seen a direct correlation between how high my power clean is and how high I've been jumping. My power clean is as high as it's ever been, and I'm jumping as high as I've ever jumped. And that just goes to show it's really important. And you see a lot of the best athletes, people like Noah Lyles, doing power cleans. That's because it works, okay? So if you get stronger in your power clean, you are going to jump higher. And you got to learn to power clean, of course. I'll probably make a video about this. It's quite a lengthy thing to talk about, but you have to increase your power clean. If you do that, you're going to jump higher. So the way we lay out our session is we'll start with an explosive exercise. So you might do, actually what we do in a day, right? We'd start the day with the most explosive exercise. So it'd be something like max effort jumps, or it'd be something like sprints. And then when we get into the weight room, we'd start with an explosive exercise like power cleans or hang cleans or snatches, right? So an Olympic ballistic movement. Then we go into our main quad movement, because the main quad movement is the most important thing. That's the thing that's going to drive our vertical the most in the weight room, because the knee extensors are heavily involved when it comes to jumping. So the knee extensors is basically when your leg bends. So this could be like a leg extension or a squat or a leg press, whatever. So we'll do that first, then we'll go into posterior chain. So this will be like an RDL or a Bulgarian split squat or a Nordic or a hip thrust, right? We'll do that because posterior chain is very important, but it's less important than the squat, and we want to get the most out of our squat or leg extension movement pattern. Then lastly, we'll finish with calves. Obviously calves are also really important, but probably the one we want to prioritize the least, because it's going to budge our vertical the least out of those four. But that's how we do it, and it works very, very well. So anyways, that is that. And I want to leave you with something that I saw. What was it? I saw this 2 years ago, and it's had me thinking ever since. I saw this. It was in the bottom of an Instagram post. This guy jumping. Honestly, I forgot who it was, but it basically said at the bottom, jump every week, sprint every week, get really strong, repeat every week for years on end, reap benefits. And that's had me thinking ever since. That's how I do my training, and I never, ever stray away from that. And that has helped me get to my point where I am. 22-inch vert to 39-inch vert, and most of that I attribute to that statement. Thanks for watching, and do check out my school community if you want to jump higher. Yeah, thanks for watching. See you in the next one. You're a legend.